Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Felicia. This is The Feminine Fancy. If you are not new, thank you guys so much for coming back. Let me take my hair tie off my wrist. As you can see, well, maybe you can't tell, but I'm still in Colorado. It's our last night here, so this is the last chance for me to film a video in this beautiful location before we head back home. So I just thought I would take advantage of the location and film one more video for you guys. Before I jump into the video, if you're not already, please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @_thefemininefancy_. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in becoming a patron of the channel and helping to support me and my message. It is patreon.com/thefemininefancy. I will leave the link to both of those things in the description box. And if you're not signed up at my website, head to thefemininefancy.com. I put up blog posts and my different outfits and things like that over there as well. So make sure that you sign up so that you can be one of the first ones to find out when I launch new things and when I have new ebooks and all of that stuff. So head to thefemininefancy.com and sign up to be a part of the mailing list. Okay, so today's video is kind of, not a long time coming, but I saw a video on Instagram maybe a month back of this young woman proposing to who I'm assuming is her boyfriend, on Instagram, and so many people had so many comments and things to say about it and about like if it was right or appropriate or whatever. And I more so just think it's interesting. I just think that to have this conversation about women proposing to men is just interesting. Like I'm not here to say one way or the other what is right and what is wrong. I just think it's interesting because in a world where culture is very pro-woman, very feminist, but I do think in a world where we have so much of that influence of feminism, we still have this expectation of men to propose. And I just think that that's interesting. This is a conversation I've had with my mom several times because some of my friends who are the most quote unquote feminist, right? Like all about women's rights and like are marching for it, are, you know, working on policy, like the most feminist women that I know, like didn't propose to their significant other and lead very traditional lives. So I think it's really interesting that on the one hand we have this element of feminism being at sort of the forefront, but then on the other hand there is this part I think of most women where you do want to be proposed to. So I just think that that's really interesting. But in this video I just wanted to kind of talk about like why I think this is happening and yeah, and that's pretty much it, like the why. Okay, so the first reason why I think that women are proposing to men is unbalanced expectations. So I think that in relationships, both people have an expectation, and it might be conscious or it might be subconscious, right? Like you might not know that you have an expectation in your relationship. I think it's important to have these expectations be conscious and to know what it is that you're expecting or what it is that you want out of your relationship. But I think in many relationships, those expectations are unbalanced. So one person might have the expectation of, oh, we're just gonna date, we're just gonna hang out, like maybe we'll move in together at some point, and then at that point, if it's still going good, then maybe I'll consider getting married, which is like fine, that works for a lot of people. And another person might have the expectation of, if he's not down on one knee in 1 year, then we're breaking up. There can be these unbalanced expectations in relationships, and it happens often. And in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, I think that the most important thing to do in your relationship is communicate, and communicate honestly. This goes both for guys and girls. I think that a lot of times we'll be in relationships with people, and I know I have been told things that I just wanted, that like the other party knew I wanted to hear, and not necessarily the truth, right? So I think it's important that we have communication, but that we have honest communication, and that we say to someone that we're dating and that we're considering like being seriously committed to, that we say, hey, like this is my expectation out of the relationship. I expect that after so much time you are going to propose to me. Like that's what I want. That is what I have wanted my whole life. Like whatever. Just being honest about that expectation, or setting the expectation of, you know what, I don't know if marriage is for me. I don't know if this is something that I agree with or want to participate in. And I want to be in a relationship with you, but I don't know if marriage is where this is headed specifically. And there is no right or wrong answer. It's just being authentic to what is right for you. I think it's funny when, you know, so many people will look at women who have these like long-standing relationships as if they are like somehow the exception to the rule. Like you take Oprah and Stedman, right? Or you take Goldie Hawn and, oh shoot, what's his name? I don't remember his name, but they're not married either. They've had these long-term partnerships where they've been together for decades, and everyone looks at that with so much like, wow, like they stayed together all of this time and they never got married, but they stayed together, and like, how does that work? But I think that honoring each other's expectations and honoring, you know, what it is that you want out of a relationship and what it is that your partner wants out of a relationship is going to be the best way that you can operate within the context of your specific relationship. You have to make sure that your expectations are either on the same page or like that they're going to be like on the way to being on the same page. At some point, you have to know that your expectations for what it is that you desire out of the relationship are aligned. Okay, the next thing that I think is contributing, that could be contributing to this, and honestly, I think this could go for both sides. Like, I think this could go for why men might be proposing prematurely, like even though they're not necessarily ready, and why women might be rushing the proposal as well. And I would place a lot of the influence on societal pressure. I think that it's interesting. I was like having I was doing like some late night writings on my blog a few months ago. I don't think I ever posted this blog, but it was basically about how I really do believe that we, in a lot of ways, right? In a lot of ways, not in all ways, but in many ways have put marriage on a pedestal. Especially if you are a more sort of traditional minded woman or a more traditional minded man, I do think that marriage has been really put on this pedestal. And I honestly would go so far as to say that many people have made an idol out of marriage, right? Like it's this thing that like you can't be happy until you have it, or your life can't start until you have it. It has really become something that people are salivating for. Like they are just like, you know, crawling for it. And I think that that feeling about marriage is heightened and doubled when we go on social media and we see all of these people who are getting married. They're having these lavish, beautiful weddings. They're having, you know, they're going on vacations together and they're like showing off their ring and they're showing you their manicure, but it's really the giant rock on their finger. Like there is this element of our Western culture putting a lot of pressure on marriage and really making it seem like this is the golden ticket. Like once you get this, guys, this is when your life begins. And you know, like I always say on this channel, I'm not one for generalization. So for some people, that could be genuinely who they are. Maybe deep down, being married is their like truest desire, right? But I also think that for many people, it's something that we're more so told that we want and that we're told that we should aspire for, as opposed to just sitting back and asking ourselves, like, why do I want this? Just asking the why questions. Why do I want this? Do I want it because I want to be able to post pictures on Instagram? Do I want it because I want to have a pretty wedding? Like, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Because marriage is such a commitment. It's such a big deal. But I think in regards to women proposing to men, I think a lot of times, you know, and I've felt this way as well, right? You look on Instagram, you see these people, you see their lives, you see the rings, you see the houses, and it all looks so picturesque, like, right? Like it looks amazing. It's like, wow, I really want that too. And so then what happens? If you're in a relationship with someone and they're not giving that to you, and here's where our sort of, our feminine and masculine dynamics come into play. If you're in a relationship and they're not giving that to you, you're going to sort of start inching towards your masculine side a little bit more. Everyone has masculine and feminine traits within them. We have different elements and different characteristics, and some of us lean more traditionally feminine. Some of us lean more towards being masculine, right? One of the traits of being masculine is being a pursuer, is being sort of like that sort of competitive side, that sort of this is what I want and I'm gonna go get it kind of thing. And when you're in a relationship and it's not going the way you want, you start to inch towards your masculine side and you start to say, okay, how can I get what I want? How can I sort of force what I want? And that's where you see, I believe, women starting to propose to their partner. Hi guys, editing me here. I wanted to clarify something. I recognize that a woman can propose to a man if she's just like very in love and they have a good relationship and she just really feels passionately about spending her life with that partner. I don't want to make it seem in this video like the only reason why a woman would propose to a man is because she's existing in her masculine or because she's doing it out of fear. Obviously, and I do mention this at the end of the video, but I want to say it again. Obviously, I'm sure there are relationships where the woman has proposed first, or the woman has proposed and the man accepted and they lived happily ever after. I don't think it always has to come from a place of fear or from a place of masculinity, but I think in some instances that could be the case. The thing about that video, and I'll circle back to this point, but the thing about that video that I saw on Instagram was it was very uncomfortable to watch, and it wasn't because she was the one proposing. That wasn't the issue. What was uncomfortable was the fact that he looked so uncomfortable, right? Like her partner, her boyfriend, whatever he was to her at the time, now her fiance, I'm not sure. Whatever he was to her at the time, he looked very uncomfortable. Like you could see it in his body language that he almost looked embarrassed. And I don't know if it was embarrassment from having his girlfriend propose to him or embarrassment from not wanting to marry her, like, and being in this situation that he didn't think he was going to find himself in. Because generally, as a society, we have the expectation that men propose to their girlfriend. And so this isn't the only situation wherein women will start inching towards their masculine to get what they want. When you think about a relationship, or when you think about when you're dating someone, right, and you really like the person, and let's say you're texting back and forth, and then all of a sudden his texts start kind of like inching away, like they're not, you know, he's not sending you good morning texts anymore, he's like ghosting you, he's breadcrumbing you, he's doing all of these things, all of these phrases. What do women tend to do? A lot of times we will fall into our masculine and we'll start doing the pursuing. We'll be the one texting, hey, how are you? Hey, how's your day going? We're double texting. We're texting in the morning. We are now taking on the masculine role because we're trying to get something that we want that our partner is not giving to us, right? Or that our whoever is the opposite person is not giving to us. And so that, I think, is consistent, is a consistent habit throughout. And I think it takes a lot of reflection and a lot of asking yourself, is defaulting to my masculine tendencies going to get me what I want? And if it does, like if it does get me what I want, is it going to be in the way that I like truly desire? Or is it just a quick fix in order to say that I won, right? That I got the thing that I wanted so badly. So, you know, I don't think we should be so quick to judge and to chastise women who get down on a knee and propose to a man low key, maybe out of like desperation or anxiety or nervousness or fear, because a lot of us do that on a smaller scale. A lot of us will take on the masculine role and start pursuing a guy and texting him and calling him and trying to get him to engage with us in conversation because he is not doing it. And so I think before we, you know, sit back and judge, we need to ask ourselves, when is the last time I did this? When's the last time I stepped into a masculine role? Because I can almost guarantee you it's probably more often than you think. While I would never propose to my significant other, I'm not going to stop anyone else from doing it, but what I would say and what I would urge you to think about is, are you doing it out of fear? Are you doing it from a scarcity mindset? Are you doing it because you know deep down he's not going to? Or are you doing it because that's just the kind of relationship you guys have and you like to joke around and you know that he would not feel embarrassed or he would not feel, or that he would be excited to have you propose to him? There are all sorts of people and couples in this world. It's not, you know, we can't continue operating as if everyone acts in the same exact way that we do and everyone thinks in the same exact way we do. No, I'm sure there are people who the woman has proposed to the man and they've been married for however many years. Like that is a given. But I would just encourage you to ask yourself certain questions and ask yourself, what are the times and what are the ways in which I have defaulted to my masculine side when I was trying to get someone to do something that they weren't doing? And to think about if you were doing it from a place of fear, if you were double texting him and calling him and being the pursuer? Were you doing it from a place of fear? Because more often than not, the answer is going to be yes. But if you and your significant other just have a fun, loving relationship and you want to propose to him, I'm not going to stop you. All right, my loves, that's it for this video. I have to go make a pot pie, but I will see you in the next one. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you thought of that video on Instagram of the girl proposing to her boyfriend, and let me know if you would ever propose to your significant other. I want to know. You can find me on Instagram at _thefemininefancy_ and on my blog at thefemininefancy.com. If you feel so inclined, please become a patron and help support this channel. It is so appreciated. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!